Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. We know what you're thinking. Did they fire off 6 fascinating points of interest or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all the excitement of watching and listening to Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast, I've actually forgotten myself. But being this is the Monty and the Pharaoh from Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, and the fact that they were talking to yet another champion wrestling star, one of the most powerful and talented performers from the wrestling franchise, and not to forget, well-informed and provocative interview questions asked and answered. It was such an interesting and entertaining hour, the questions nearly blew your head clean off. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya, punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrell from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.
Finest hour, good times surely will come. All I know is people talk without listening. What I'm saying is life's too short to live in these extremes. Have we seen our finest hour? Good times surely will come. And all through the night wanted and waited.
Fake news. Boston wrestling is fake news.
Divided we fall to wait here for you, holding it together, just like a desert flower, waiting on the rain to come. And all I know is annualized confusion. And what I'm saying is you don't realize what this means. Have we seen our finest hour? Good times surely will come. Just like a desert flower, waiting on the rain to come.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it used to be in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it used to be in a one-horse open sleigh. Dancing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over here we go, laughing all the way. Ha, ha, ha. Bells and bobtail ring, making spirit wise. Oh, what fun it used to be in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'll tell you, I'm half Santa and I'm Santa helper. I'm the what?
Elf.
I'm an elf. Elf. Now, y'all ain't never seen an elf look like me before. You wait till I get in that six-pack, you're really going to see something. But Larry told me I can't tape and have my beard too because then I really talk real crazy and everything. Well, this is a good time of the year. You know, we don't have a beautiful year. We went through a whole lot. And what we're going to do here, we got some questions. This is question and answering. And Mr. Larry going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to answer questions. Now, while Larry is busy with the question, I'm going to get myself a little Christmas gift. Oh, yeah. Now I'm ready. I'm ready. Clutchy just gave Tony some kicks to the face. Tony is a happy man now. Clutchy kicked you in the face too, but she used spikes on other people. She used sneakers on me, but other people's kick in the face. She used football cleats. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try the football cleats probably next week. Y'all write in and say we want to see Clutchy kick Tony with football cleats.
Tony, I'll do it.
No,
wait a minute.
No.
On the second Tuesday of next week.
You.
Yeah.
I don't want your feet, Larry.
There's no. I'll let her do it to me on the second Tuesday of next week. There is no 2 Tuesdays of next.
Oh my goodness! I want to see that.
Did you hear what I said?
I did. I let you gonna get kicked in the face. I want to see you.
It ain't never gonna happen, Tony.
I just suck.
There ain't never gonna be 2 Tuesdays in 1 week.
Larry, you're a tough man. You can take it, baby.
Yeah,
You're not a wimp. Okay, what is up? Now, Marty and the Pharaoh, who is the people that helped put us together for us. Once in a while, they was sending us some questions. And this is Christmas week, so I'm going to give a gift to all the people that watch Marty and the Pharaoh and the Tuesday with Tony show. And we're going to take this time to answer some questions. That way, that keep me from babbling all night long. Okay, Larry, what the first question and who is it from?
First question is from Ashley Neubauer.
Ashley Neubauer.
And her question is, Tony, did you ever date a female wrestler?
Did I ever date a female wrestler? The question is no. Here's the reason why. Back in my day, the fabulous Moolah out of Columbus, South Carolina, she was in charge of all the wrestlers. Well, the girls that dated wrestlers, I hate saying this, they used to call them arena rats. The wrestler, they had a girlfriend in every town. When they went to Charleston, South Carolina, they had a girl that they lay with in Charleston, South Carolina. They went to Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a girl there. Raleigh was a girl there. So most of the wrestlers back then was kind of like sailors. You know, you had a girl in every port. So Moolah did not want the wrestling girls to fool around with the wrestlers because what ended up happening, she would get a bad name. There was an old saying in wrestling, telephone, telegraph, and tele-wrestler. Once that girl been with one of the wrestlers, all the wrestlers knew. And so when this wrestler is not booked on that card, the guys would try to be with that girl. So no, I never date none of the wrestling girl. And another thing that kept me from dating the wrestling girl, most of the wrestling girls was white. And back in the 70s and stuff, when I first started, that was taboo. You know, to be with a white girl back in the 70s and early 80s was not the most popular thing for a wrestler. I don't know about other sports, but in the wrestling business, the promoter said, once you do this, not only the white people would dislike you for it, that the black people would dislike it. They feel that now that you're on top and making money, that you feel like you're too good to be with a black girl. And so I had to stay away from him. But Muda was the real reason why I never dated a wrestler, because she kept the wrestlers separated from the male wrestler in order for them to keep their reputation. I saw that later when I saw Undertaker and Michelle McCool, date, and eventually I believe they got married.
And
But that was the first time I saw it. It's been up until the 90s, 2000, it was unheard of. Even in the 80s, they didn't date. Next question, Mr. Huntley.
Mr. Huntley.
Mr. Huntley.
Let's see.
Got to get kicked in the face by Coochie.
Yeah, good.
Coochie.
Yeah. The next one is from Avi Klein, AVI. I don't know if that's a male or a female. I apologize. The question is, what is your relationship with Mark Henry?
My relationship with Mark Henry is very, very, very good. Me and I didn't know much about Mark Henry when I first, in 2006, when I first went there to get inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. But Mark Henry was one of the people that really felt good. I remember watching tape, and I saw this tape of Mark Henry sitting in the audience with a big smile on his face, telling me to take my jacket off, take my job. That scene was a scene to remember. And then me and Mark Henry, we rolled up and down the highway together for a couple of years. And the amazing thing about Mark Henry that a lot of people don't know, Mark Henry is a type of person that will study something first. He never go into anything blindly. He would study it. I would sit and have conversations with Mark Henry. In fact, Larry, you remind me a lot of Mark Henry with your knowledge of the history of the business. Most time us old timers figure, well, you ain't been around long enough to know not to care. But it's wrong. When I met Mark Henry, Larry Huntley in the same way, I was sitting to have a conversation with Larry Huntley or Mark Henry about wrestling in the old days, and I sound like I'm talking to somebody from that period. Mark Henry understands the old and the new. He could tell me about Killer Kowalski. He could tell stories about, just like he was there. Because it was something, he's the type of person that once you tell him to do something, he put 100% of his ability into it. Now, a lot of times, I know they would ask Mark to do something. He didn't like it, but he did it anyway. And I told Mark, I said, yeah, they tried to get me to do that. I told them no. I wasn't going to do that, Mark. And then Mark looked at me and said, well, that's why you ain't working here no more. Everybody let you go. But there was a lot of stuff that they asked Mark Henry to do, and Mark knew that he shouldn't have been doing it. He knew it didn't make him look good, but Mark Henry is a businessman. He's a businessman. If Vince asked him to do something, he did it, whether he liked it or not. He may say something about it or something, but that he would not walk out on that. He had a big burden on his shoulder. Mark Henry was the first, outside of Ernie Ladd, other than Ernie Ladd and S.D. Jones, Mark Henry was the first top black wrestler for the WWE that didn't screw up. I screwed up. Rocket screwed up. SD didn't. Junkyard Dog screwed up. That's why they didn't make him champion. So a lot of us, we did things that really kept Vince from pushing up as far as he did. Mark Henry never did nothing wrong. Never did. He hate being late. He said, I never want to be late for a show. So I told Mark one time, I said, Mark, you are the first black wrestler that Vince used on top that didn't screw up his job. And that was a burden that he had to carry. He said, yeah, I didn't want to do what you wrestlers gotta do. He said, a lot of times they tell me to do stuff that I don't want to do, but I swallow it and I do it anyway. So I got a very, very good relationship with Mark Henry. I got a great deal of respect for him. He's a great, great, great friend and a good family man. I mean, he was always on the phone. He was texting or calling his wife or talking about his kid. The last time I saw Mark Henry was at a convention not too long ago, and the first thing he did was pull out his phone and started telling me what his son is doing.
Yeah.
He's so proud of his family. He's always talking about family. Great guy, great relationship. And I'm just happy that I got to meet Mark Henry.
Are you still in touch with him?
Well, I talk to Mark Henry on a regular basis. Mark Henry told me if I don't call him at least once a month, he's gonna beat my butt. So every month, the big L here, brother. I call that Mark Henry, brother. Let me tell you, no Mark Henry. That Mark Henry said if I don't call him, I can't get no coochie. Okay, what's the next question?
All right. The next question is from Natalie Lashman.
Natalie Lashman.
Yep. And her question is, we always want to hear about the Von Erich issues, especially Carrie, but also David and Kevin.
What issue?
The drugs and the erratic behaviors. And did you have any issues with that? I've heard stories.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't want to talk about drugs and just use the Von Erichs. Drugs really came into business with them football players. When I first started, remember what I told you what it was? It was beer, whiskey, and tobacco. That's what it was. Johnny Weaver, Red Man, Chattanooga Chew, Pat Blue River Beer. Tony Atlas was the beer. Tommy Wildfire Rich maybe smoked a little bit of weed. Tony Atlas smoked a little bit of weed, but it was nothing stronger in the business than a joint. That was it. Then the football players came in with the pills before the cocaine. Yellow Jackets, Black Beauty, did you call it? Percocet, Percodan, all these. That's where all the drugs came in. But it started with all the guys that played professional football, because they was using these horse pain pills, that opium, in football.
Yeah.
They would tell me story. Ernie Ladd would tell me a story who played football. Wahoo told me story. Blackjack Mulligan told me story. You got hurt in a football game back then, they would wrap you up, pop one of them pills in you, you go out on the court. So then when these guys came out of professional football into pro wrestling, they brought the drugs with them. So every time people talk about the wrestlers and the drugs, but there would be, if the football players had never got into wrestling, there would not be no drugs into wrestling. And then eventually more and more wrestlers use it. Then when somebody said, well, tell me about the Von Erich using drugs. Well, I can't tell you about the Von Erich using drugs when I did it myself. I can't tell you about this guy using drugs when I did it myself. Drugs all of a sudden became the new pain pill. See, as a wrestler, if I book you for 6 shows and you get hurt on the 3rd show, you still owe me 3 more matches. And if you don't wrestle them 3 more matches, I'm going to replace you, not me, the promoter. And that's how the business was. Even when you hurt, you had to go into the ring. Being hurt was no excuse. No excuse. When I broke my hand and I had to wrestle Ken Patero for the Mid-Atlantic Championship, I didn't miss not one day. I had a broken hand. I still made the shows. When I broke my neck, I only missed 3 days. And then with the 3 days, I was in the hospital. Once I got out the hospital, how your neck, Tony? I said, a little bit stiff. Well, good, you can work. Just tell the guy, be careful of the neck. Okay? Don't take any crazy bumps or anything. I said, don't worry, I ain't going to take any bumps. It didn't matter. How you feel? Oh, I think I cracked a rib. Oh, good. You're going to live. You're on 3rd match.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if you was hurt, because the fans, they didn't have the internet and ways of letting the fan know about or let the fan know anything. So when the fans got there, all they know, they pay to see Tony Atlas. They pay to see Junkyard Dog. They pay to see Hulk Hogan. That's all they know. There was no internet, no way of the promoter letting the fan know, why this wrestler don't show up. So the wrestler have to be there. Even if you can't wrestle, just come and sit by ringside. But no, you could not miss a show just because you are injured. So I don't want to talk about. I like the Von Erich family. They was always real good to me. Always treated me like gold. They made me champion when I was working for in that area, and they treated me real good. Me and Kevin was real good friend. Me and Curb was real good friend. And the Von Erich didn't do no more drugs than Tony Atlas or anybody else did. So no, I just don't want to talk about the Von Erich drug problem when at that time about 70% of the wrestlers had drug problems.
Did you notice any other erratic behavior from them? Because they were known for doing some weird stuff.
Well, when I first started in the business, if you wasn't weird, you was in the wrong business. I mean, we all did weird stuff. That's why all the guys love me so much, because of my shoe fetish. I used to get walked on in parking lots in the snow. Just all kind of way. I used to get a guy to get a manager, a female manager. I would do something to her just so she could kick me in the face, That was just us. And the boys loved it because we entertained each other. So when you was weird, all the guys want to be around because they know they will get some entertainment out of you. You know what I'm saying? The guys see me, they know they're going to get some girl to kick me in the face. They even used to get girls. Like SD would go to a bar. Boss man. Look at a nice shoe. You like them shoes, boss man? Look at them shoes, boss man. Look at them shoes, boss man. SD didn't want to see the girl with some excitement. So the girl would start walking on me. She started stomping on me and punching on me and stuff. Yeah. Give it to him. Give it to him. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great. Hey, guys. Yo. Hey, come here. Tony doing the shoes. Tony, show him. Do that to him, honey. Give him a couple kick. So the guys would all run into the room. The girl would come in, give me a couple of kicks in the face, and the boy go, oh, great, oh, fantastic. She hit that bell. That hurt like hell. Did it hurt your foot? You felt that bell? She didn't feel nothing. She hit kick right here. That damn bell went into my head. That was fantastic. I would have a little round bell in my head there. But the boys would love it. They would love it. Now, another guy may have something else weird about it. So all the guys say, hey, so-and-so is doing this. Oh, wow, I got to see this. I heard about it. I never seen it. So then the guy would go to the room. Why? We entertain each other. That's why we always made these jokes. I know every black joke in the world. And how I learned them? The wrestler had a thing they would call testing you to see if you one of the boys. Because we had to try with each other. So if you got something about you that's going to piss people off, the wrestlers wanted to know. So they would come and they would tell me black jokes. At one time, I got mad about it. And Thunderbolt Palliser couldn't take it. When they make a black joke around Thunderbolt want to fight everybody. Let me fix my hat there. Oh, yeah, that look cooler there. Now it look real cool. I'm like I'm from the hood now, baby. From the hood. That's that hood look when that Hingman side right here. Yeah, man. I'm laying back that middle finger cut. You understand me? I'm from the hood. You understand? And so something is wrong with me, And for real, huh? Yeah. Even Clucci says something is wrong with.
It's nothing new.
It's nothing new. Clucci said, Tony, there's something wrong with you. Something is seriously wrong with me. But I'm not weird. This is normalcy. This is what everybody should do. And that's what's wrong with the world now. There's not enough Clucci anyway. See that? Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that lovely? Oh, dippity-doo-dah, dippity-yay, bye, what a wonderful day. See? But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. And that's what wrestlers do. We learn to entertain ourselves. I don't know. There was a lot of guys that I shared a room with that I was look over and he was enjoying himself by himself. Many a nights I've been sitting over there trying to sleep and some rascal is laying over in the bed. There's nobody there but him. He had to create his own fun. He was enjoying himself.
Well, good for him.
Oh, yeah. And some of the things that I've seen guys do for enjoyment, and you know, it's kind of like being a trucker. You're on the road all the time. Constantly on the road. But anyway, what's the next question, Larry? Before I get too
question,
crazy.
I already know the answer, but I want to say it so just so they don't think
All that started, that's about the Von Erich went from the shoes to the this and the that.
Evan Ginsberg, your thoughts on the documentary 350 Day is what it says.
Never heard of it.
It's a documentary about the old wrestlers and the fact that they were on the road 350 days a year.
Okay. Now I see. But I never heard about it. That's my first. Well, that was true because the only time we got off was Christmas. From the 15th to the 25th, we was off. The rest of the time, we wrestled 7 days a week. And that is true. 55 days, not 350. 355 days a week. We was only off for 10 days. The whole year. 10 days for the whole year. And in some territory, you was only off for 9 days because they had a Christmas show.
A lot of business.
A lot of the territory you have to wrestle. And on a Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
You know, so
Mid-Atlantic had a huge.
Mid-Atlantic had a Thanksgiving show. Texas had a Thanksgiving show.
Starcade Thanksgiving night.
It was Thanksgiving, and so the holidays was not holidays for us. So that's why we got so crazy because we had to find ways every day to entertain ourselves. We was constantly looking for something. So if a guy is crazy, we want to hang around him. You know, I go to a bar, even now. I go somewhere. Hey, Tony, what do you think of them shoes? Even now.
Yeah.
The old timers, you hear talk show, CM Punk, they were talking about my shoe fetish. Every time you have a guy talk, because they want to tell all the weirdness that guys get. Like I said, I knew guys that like to get whipped and all type of stuff, But guys were just crazy. Some of the craziness was dangerous. Like Ronnie Garvin would come up behind you, put the bumper of his car behind you, and start pushing you down the highway at 80 miles per hour. That was dangerous. But to Ronnie, it was funny as hell.
Wow.
Ronnie thought it was freaking great. But the guy would try to entertain himself on the road. On the highway. They'd be just doing crazy stuff going down there. Like, get back to Von Erich. Kevin did one thing you just scared the daylights out of me. I used to ride with Kevin Von Erich. And he always wrestled barefooted.
Yeah.
He would lay back in his seat and take his feet and drive with it. And put his arm behind his head just like that.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Driving with his feet.
Holy man.
But he could do it.
Yeah.
It was easy in Texas because all the roads are straight.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is flat. So yeah, but I've seen a lot of craziness. In fact, if you wasn't crazy, wrestling was not the business for you. You was in the wrong business.
All right.
What was the next one?
Oh, there we go. The next one is from Larry Huntley.
Oh,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I hear people say all the time that Chief Jay was not a Native American.
He was a Native American. He was in there.
But you've always told me, and I want to clear this up on here, that he was half Native American and half Italian.
Part Italian, yeah.
Yeah. But everybody claims he was just Italian.
No. He got adopted. He had his paperwork and everything else. But I came across. Is it any more questions?
Oh yeah. I got questions.
Okay,
I just want to throw my own in.
Yep.
Let's see. Chris Lee. Do you think Marty Jannetty's drug issues is behind Shawn Michaels passing him by? They broke him up, and then Shawn Michaels went on to be the bigger star.
No.
Okay.
No. What happened was I was not there, so I couldn't tell you exactly what exactly happened, but I don't think that his drug problem. Marty told me the story. I just forgot uh, all the details of what he told me. They got in a fist fight or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they got into a big argument. They got into a fist fight over something, and so they decided to keep Shawn Michael and get rid of Marty Jannetty. But I don't think his drug problem had anything to do with it, because during that time, I don't know who was in the WWF at that time that didn't do drugs.
Yeah.
So they all want to point at this guy, that guy, but you look at 90% of the guys were stoned, like Jake the Snake,
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Atlas, Junkyard Dog. We all was fucking doing something,
Yeah.
and it started the drugs really started the drugs in the 90s. Is where the drugs really hit the business real big. I said the late 80s, early 90s. During the 70s, not so much. But I would say when the 80s hit, then when the cocaine and the pills started coming in the 80s, and then by the 90s, it was off the chart, brother.
Right.
I mean, just about everybody in the dressing room was stoned. I remember one day Arnold Skolin came into the dressing room, and nobody could get no drugs. So everybody was sitting in the dressing room like this. Just like this. So Skolin said, "Oh, well, I guess nobody got it. They call it the gimmick.
Yeah.
Nobody got no gimmick tonight." He said, "Yeah, we get." I remember when I told you Tito Santana was in the dressing room, and Jim Barnett, the promoter, said, "Oh, my boy, we need to get him on some dope so he can go in the ring and go wild like wildfire." The promoter actually, like, it was okay because guys needed it to wake up. Because when you drive 5-6 hours, 10-hour trip,
Yeah.
and wrestle, after a while the body started to wear down.
Oh, yeah.
And so you get tired, but the motor want that same energy night after night after night after night. He want that same energy out of you. So, yeah, no, I don't think his drug problem had anything to do with it. I think there was that Shawn Michael just decided to go on his own, kind of like what Diana Ross did with the Supreme.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson did to his brothers,
All right. Let's see. The next question was Nick Bockwinkel overrated?
No, I think Nick Bockwinkel was underrated. Nick Bockwinkel was a champion of champions. He dressed like a champion, carried himself like a champion, could work with anybody, had the look, great workup, everybody. The only thing that different between Nick, him, he didn't get he wasn't around when the big push came,
Yeah.
kind of like the Harley race.
Yeah.
I mean, the only guy that came out that era that was still around when the big cable and everything hit was like Ric Flair.
Yep.
That way everybody know Rick. But Rick, all of us wrestled Nick Bockwinkel. He was not overrated. He was underrated. Like Wahoo McDaniel. That's why I like doing these programs, so I could talk about some of these people that I wrestled with and worked with that I thought was the best that ever were. Just before the Bret Hart, all these guys. Some of these guys were so outstanding that I wish you could find tapes of them.
Right.
But most of the shows were not taped. No, I don't think Nick Bockwinkel was overrated. If anything, he was underrated.
Okay, let's see. I have a question from William Murdoch. He wants to know about any stories about your relationships with Don Morocco and Andre the Giant.
Yes. I probably told this one time before. About Mr. Fuji. I think I told that story. Where they fed him the roadkill.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was over Don Morocco. Morocco took care of me and Ann Sheik in Japan. Now, there was one thing about Morocco. I don't know if I should tell it or not, but he probably whoop my butt if I tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Morocco used to like to get the bed. I share a room, but he liked the bed next to the wall. And he would spit oysters on the wall and watch them drip down. Yeah.
Gross.
Yes. The next morning, you see all these little lines of uh, phlegm. I mean, the thick stuff. It'd be all over the wall. Don would do that. I don't know why, but he will. But the only problem with you bumped into something again. God damn, you clumsy son. The only problem with Don, not to talk about Don Morocco, Don was a heel. So we didn't spend that much time together. When we share a room, I would go check in the room, Don would slip into the room. And that's how we would share a room. But he took real good care of me and the Iron Sheik and black wrestlers when they first went to Japan. And he was a good friend of mine, but we didn't really hang out really that much because, like I say, you couldn't hang out with the bad guys back in them days. Sometimes we would slip in each other's room if somebody had a little dope or something, He had the best way of smuggling pot that I ever seen. He would buy protein cans, take all the protein out, put the dope in the bottom, put a fake lid, a fake bottle, the bottom was fake, and put the protein back. So even if you dump the protein powder out, when you look in, you see it look empty because it'd be a fake. Yeah. And when he done it in Japan, I go. But he took me.
Be careful in Japan, because
and that was really the only time where I really spent any time with Don Morocco. Believe it or not, but just that one time in Japan, I wrestled against him 1,000 times. But like I said, it's hard when somebody asks us about the old time heels because we were not allowed to be around them guys. You'll lose your job. So if
Kizzy.
Yeah, everything was kayfabe. They were so down protected of the business.
How was he to work?
Morocco was a good performer, a good worker. Just don't piss him off. He was strong as a bull.
He looked it.
Naturally,
His chest
a natural freaking brute. Had shoulders like freaking cannonballs, And when you grab a hold of it, it felt like you were grabbing hold of a rock.
That's saying something.
Morocco was a powerful man. And some nights, if you work gently with Morocco, he worked gently with you. You get rough with Morocco, he get rough with you. So it depends on how you handle Morocco. But I think I told a story about Mr. Fuji taking that roadkill and cooking it to get even for people that were picked on Don Morocco. I hadn't seen him in a year. I know he got his program talking, and one time he was talking about me. I saw on the internet, said I dropped him or something. I think he got me misplaced with someone else because everybody I pressed him, I never dropped anybody. But he said he got hurt in the ring with me one time, but I can't remember that happening. I may have been stoned one night and don't remember, but I just don't remember that story. Any more questions over that?
Andre the Giant.
Well, most of the stories I got with Andre, I already told. He asked the question. It was
how about working with Andre?
I wrestled Andre the Giant as my tag team partner, and I wrestled him for the first time in my life as my opponent. Wrestling Andre was like wrestling a double-door refrigerator. Andre moved when Andre want to move. Andre did what Andre want to do. If Andre don't want to do something, Andre's not going to do it. And there ain't nothing that anybody, including Tony Atlas, I don't care how big, bad, and tough you thought you were, if Andre didn't want to do it, it ain't going to happen. He was the most amazing individual I ever met in my life. But he liked me. The reason he liked me so much, I used to go up to Andre and I go, "Hey, Andre, my arm is bigger than yours. You got small arms. My arm's bigger than yours." He loved that. I never understood that until later in his life. And he told me this. He said, I would give. No, he didn't tell me a guy. What was the guy named? His name was White too. He was a referee. Tim White. He said, I would give all the money I ever made in this business to be you for one day. For one day.
Not to be the oddity.
Andre always felt like a gorilla in a cage. People always gawked at him. They always talked about his size. And I never called him big. That's why he liked me. I kept telling Andre I was bigger than him. So that made Andre feel good. Because I told him that I got bigger arms than him. Which I didn't, but I told Andre that. and because Andre said all he want to do is to fit in. So if you treated Andre like a regular person and don't mention his size, he would love you to death. But if soon as you say, "Oh man, look how big his hands is, look how big this is," isolating him. He always wanted to be one of the boys. He always wanted to fit in, and he protects his friend too. He protects his friend. I probably told this story before. I'll tell it again. Dick Murdoch, I lost my passport over in Japan. Dick Murdoch and all the white wrestlers run around calling me a dumb nigger and all this stuff, the dumb this or dumb that. So Andre didn't like it. So when Murdoch got on the bus, Andre told me come and sit beside him. He said, hey, Murdoch got on the bus. He said, hey, Murdoch, I hear you lost your passport too. And Murdoch said, yeah, I lost my passport. And then he said, hey, Murdoch, that now we know we got two dumb niggas on the bus. You understand? So he called Murdoch a dumb nigger. And Murdoch was the type of guy well known in the wrestling business that didn't care much for people like me. He was affiliated with the KKK and all this stuff. But he didn't like the idea of Murdoch saying this stuff about me because I lost my passport. So Andre decided that he's going to stand up for me. I tag team with Andre with Ken Patero and Big John Studd. And Vince McMahon got the idea to call John Studd the Jank.
Oh.
Yeah, the Jank. All that pissed Andre off. Andre said, no, he not Jank. Only one Jank. Andre, only Jank. So I'm wrestling with Ken Patero and them out there. And I got Ken Patero in the headlock. So Patero reached over and tagged John Studd. Studd stepped through the rope. Before Studd Studd reached out to get me, the ring started vibrating. I thought it was an earthquake or something. I said, I asked John Studd, I said, what the hell is that? John Studd said, it's Andre. It's Andre. Andre came in the way, started pounding the hell out of Big John Studd. The match was over. The match was over. And a lot of guys try to do things that they have never been and never will be anything on earth like Andre.
So that wasn't John Studd's idea.
No, it was
he
Vince.
Took a beating for something that wasn't even his idea.
Yeah. And Vince knew it.
Was Vince ribbing John Studd?
Vince didn't give a shit.
Okay.
What does Vince care about what happened to a wrestler?
Well,
when did Vince McMahon ever care about a wrestler?
No, but I'm saying, then why did he do it just
He didn't care.
Okay.
He didn't care. Either way or another, Vince, I don't think there's a wrestler walking the face of the earth that Vince McMahon ever cared about. Only what you could do for Vince. If you can make Vince money, it's great. If you can't make Vince no money, Vince would do everything in his power to destroy you. In fact, Vince would fire you, right? Another promoter want to use you. Vince would do everything in his power to keep you from working for that other promoter. He could give a red ass if you starve to death. He don't care. There had never been a wrestler that Vince McMahon Jr. ever cared about. Never, and never will be. To us, we did something for him to make money with. That's right. He could give a red ass about me or anybody walking the face of the freaking earth. If he did, he wouldn't do guys the way they did. He fired guys for no reason. He don't have to have a reason. He just tired of looking at you. Gotta go. I don't like looking at you no more. He don't care nothing about the wrestler. If he cares something about the wrestler, he would put a wrestler under contract where you can't work for no one else, where you can't do anything, and won't let you do nothing. See, Vince like closure. When he finished with you, he wants you to be finished. Gone. You know? That's why he put a lot of guys in after they're dead, so he's not giving them no ring. He never cared about any wrestler ever walked the face of the earth. Never.
That's the last.
And he don't care about the ones there now. They're only stupid to think he do.
Yeah.
Vince don't give a shit about nothing but Vince. Vince only care about Vince.
What?
I don't even think he love his family.
Wow.
I don't. I don't think Vince love anything. I don't think Vince is capable of loving.
Wow.
I think he's a very angry, miserable son of a bitch. He's a miserable old man.
Damn.
He's sitting looking himself in the mirror every day. His neck. Well, he looked good for Thanksgiving. You know, all them wrinkles hanging down the bottom of that with that turkey. You know, turkey neck. He got that beak too. Look at him. That look. He's not like this. You know that wrinkles like that. Come on,
Vince Gold.
come on, the man ugly as shit, man.
Vince Gold.
Look how ugly he is. Come on. He's ugly. He's ugly and
Vince
old.
Gold.
Can't get it up no more. Come on.
What do you mean? He's the genetic jackhammer. That's what he used to say on Raw. He's the
Yeah,
genetic
right.
Jackhammer.
Yeah, he couldn't whoop away in a wet paper bag.
Can I ask a question?
Everything he ever got, he got from his father.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for, what's his name, the singer there. He'd be broke. It wasn't for Fat Domino.
Really?
Yeah. His father had a shop, a club in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And he opened up a club for black entertainers because they couldn't
Go to the white.
they couldn't go to the white club.
Right.
So Vince Senior told me that he got that his biggest draw was Fat Domino. He said he made most of the money he got to buy into wrestling. He made from Fat Domino.
That's awesome.
So Fat Domino made you rich. You ugly goose neck looking ass.
The artwork that you drew with Andre behind you, what was that?
It was in the Meadowlands.
Okay.
That was that match I was talking about. Me and Andre was tagged up against Big Jaw.
That was that show?
That was
Okay.
that was that. That was that. That was that show right there. So yeah, most promoters do have the old time promoter. They have feeling for wrestlers. I mean, they went around and they did things, you know, to make. To help wrestlers and their family and stuff like that. You look at all the wrestlers that ever went through WWF, WWE, when they get flat on their luck, there's no program set up for these guys. I mean, if you don't save your money while you was making it, you know, you just out of luck, you know. But a promoter can't have feelings for wrestlers. I mean, I think his father did. His father was he was a gentleman. He was a man of his word. Now Vince Jr., I don't think he know the truth if it bit him in the ass. Prime example. I was there with WWF at Saba Simba. And I get the booking sheet and my name is not on it. So me and Black Bar can tell the same story. If I've used his name, you can ask him to go tell the same story. We went to talk to Vince Jr. and found out why our name was not on the booking sheet. So he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. There's been a mistake and everything. Y'all just as much a part of this business as anybody. You're just as much a part of this business as anybody." So I said, "Oh, okay, good." He said, "By the time you get home, your new booking sheet should already be in the mail." So I get home. My wife, Monica, said, "Hey, you got some mail from the office." She called it the office. So I opened up the mail. It was from Pat Powder. Your service is no longer needed.
Wow.
Vince could look you right in the face and lie so easily. He never had the kahunas. What do you call kahunas? Balls.
In Puerto Rico, it's huevos for eggs.
Quavo. To tell you, he can't face you face to face. Let's put it that way. Everything he do got to be behind your back. He would smile and grin in your face, but he don't have the kahunas to talk to you mono on mono. He don't have that. He can't do that. He would tell you you're the greatest star you ever seen. You got a job. You ain't got nothing to worry about. And as soon as you walk away, you go to one of the book of palace, and somebody said, "Get rid of him." You know, that's why when Pat Palliser died, nobody cared. Palliser must have destroyed so many wrestlers' career.
Mm.
A lot of Pat Palliser was lower than a snake. He could walk underneath a snake without bending over.
Who?
Pat Palliser. He was a scumbag.
Oh, I thought that was Vince.
No, Pat Palliser was that's why Vince made him the booker.
Oh, okay.
He was a complete scumbag. I mean, he hurt so many guys' career. You know, he fired guys because guys wouldn't let him play with him. Nobody want that little funny looking thing playing with their pecker. You know, let me play with your pecker or I'm going to fire you. He was running around doing this stuff. Virgil used to go in the dressing room. Virgil made a lot of money off of Pat.
I heard that's how he got his job.
Yeah, Virgil go in the shower. He'd take that long thing up here that's swinging around like this, and Pat would go to the shower and go, look at that Virgil pecker. Virgil had something that freaking long. He was swinging around like a
Helicopter.
Yeah, like a helicopter or something. Old Palliser, all of a sudden, Virgil making all that money. You know, I know what they were doing. They were messing with all them little young boys and stuff. Pat got in trouble. Remember them young kids and everything. Him and what name? Mel Phillip.
Yeah.
But Phillip didn't remember. Phillip like me. He had a foot fetish, but he had a foot fetish for little boys. You know. Yeah. So Vince, you know, he's not a good person. He's not a good person. But it's hard, I guess, for him to be a good person and run that type business.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he has to be a hard ass. But the part that gets me about him, why he got to be a liar and a backstabber. He should man up. When you fire, he do it on TV. Y'all fired. But that's only on TV.
Right.
He won't do it in person.
Right.
That's all the act.
Oh,
Yeah, fine. Yeah, he do that on TV.
Is that why he embellishes so much on TV?
Yeah, because he get on TV and then he pretending to be somebody not. In real life, he's a wimp. He couldn't whip away in a wet paper bag. Danny Davis kept from getting beat up one night. I was with them guys. He went in this hotel to check in, and we sat in the car, and Vince got in an argument with some guy at in the lobby. And the guy started beating Vince's ass. Danny Davis went in and helped Vince. He cleaned the guy's clock. Years later, Danny Davis was short, needed some money to pay his electric bill. He called Vince and said, Vince, I need $200 to pay my electric bill, or else they're going to turn my lights off. Vince, Linda McMahon told Danny Davis, said, well, how am I going to get that money back?
Wow.
Yeah, that's them. They wouldn't get a shred off their ass if you was on fire. Any more question on that?
I got one on my own that I put this out myself today.
Okay, what is that?
Just a real general one. This is from Anthony Mark Balkus. What was your favorite memory or memories in the WWF?
WWF. Well, you see, when you say WWF, my best one was not in the WWF.
What was it?
My best one was in the WWF. WWF, I was Saba Simba.
Okay.
See, I never worked in WWF except for Saba Simba.
Oh, okay. I thought they changed.
It was
changed earlier than that.
No, 85. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't go back until 1990 to do Saba Simba.
I thought it changed before 85.
Yeah, but I didn't. I got no good memories of it. That's when he would job me out and everything, and I ended up going to Vern Gagne. Mm-hmm. So I don't have any good memories of the WWF. WWF, yes. WWE, yes. WWF, no.
You have one good one.
What?
Paid for your house.
Who?
Paid for your house.
Yes, you did.
Got you back on your feet.
No, that was WWE.
When you were Saba Simba, didn't you?
No, that was all WWE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I went WCW.
Oh,
After that, I teamed up with Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
Me and Barbarian, and that's right. Yep. That was all WWE.
That was a lot.
No, Vince ain't never did nothing. Everything that was done for me was done by Vince Senior.
Okay.
After Senior left, I was on the
shit list
from
Yeah.
with Vince ever since. Vince never used Tony Atlas. Never used Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas never worked for Vince.
Wow.
He always tried to make me something I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't let Tony Atlas work for him.
Right. It was the laughing guy or the mentor.
Africa, a mentor, a manager,
yeah.
everything but Tony Atlas, the wrestler.
Right.
Vince never used Tony Atlas. Vince Jr. Vince Sr. used Tony Atlas, but not Vince Jr. But before y'all get any more questions, there's one thing I want to show people because the New Year's is coming up. Yeah, so I want to show something that I found the other day. First, read that off to Larry, what it says. Y'all listen to old Larry here.
It says, so you want to become a wrestler. You may read the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right. Many young men would like to try their hand at professional wrestling, but only a few ever make it. Just a few weeks ago, the young man you see pictured on these pages stepped into his first professional wrestling match. Tony White trained for many long hours over a 7-month period to reach that point, but that's not where his wrestling career started. Tony has been involved in wrestling for 9 of his 21 years. He had his first training in junior high school at age 13. From there, he went on to wrestle for Roanoke, Virginia's Patrick Henry High School and won the state unlimited class title. At 6'2", 245 pounds, Tony has the size to make it big as a pro. He has the drive of a bull, and no wonder as he was born under the sign of Taurus. Tony was tagged with the nickname of Tony Atlas by his fellow wrestlers. You only need to look at those granite carved muscles to see why. He has bench pressed a top weight of 580 pounds. As his pro wrestling career progresses, he wouldn't find much time for his hobbies of drawing and hunting, but hopes to be able to carry on his work with children as he was once a Vista volunteer. Things are looking good for Tony, but it doesn't come easy, and as you look at the pictures on these pages, you'll see why. Do you still want to be a professional wrestler?
That's what he just got through reading. That's me before I stepped into the ring and how we used to train. That bag I got here, that's my old Patrick Henry High School bag. And then I'm on the dip bar there. I used to do leg lifts. That's how I used to work my stomach. I hold myself up and lift my leg up. As you can see, I'm bench pressing. And this is the guy that got me started, Sandy Scott. See, I'm doing a set out. Then I got him in referee position. We did bridges for our neck. That's me and old Sandy working out. And I thought this was a great, great thing I got here.
Where did this come from, Tony?
It was Oliver magazine there, that Mid-Atlantic magazine.
All right.
And somebody sent it and asked me to sign the magazine. So this was a center page. So I decided, hey, I'm going to keep that because this is Tony Atlas before he stepped into the ring. That's a young kid there. Now the picture was taken about 2 years before the article came out. And what they would do things, but they would not put things out right away. They want to see how you work out. They want to see how things was going to work out for you. They want to make sure that you wasn't going to quit. Hey. They want to make sure that you are not going to quit the business or something like that.
What happened to your ears, Tony? They got big.
I know. I look like Spock, huh? But anyway, is that all the question, Larry,
Actually,
for tonight?
I have one more that's come in.
Okay, we got one more question.
This is from Stevie Couture. He says, do you have any stories of your friend S.D. Jones? I don't know how you can.
S.D. Jones and me, we travel all up and down the highway. But there's one story that I want to tell because it includes Rocky Johnson too. When SD had a nickname, they called him Bike because the guy raced him one time. The guy was on a bike, SD was on foot, SD beat him.
Oh my Lord.
Called him Bike. Me and SD used to go to the gym together, and SD was an amazing person. SD bench pressed 400 pounds, but he could incline 400 pounds too.
Wow.
I used to squat 400 or 500 pounds, SD used to squat 400 or 500 pounds. I know, and we tried to get SD the one that helped me to get started. And one time, this is a real good story about SD. When Vince first fired me from before I went to AWA, worked for Vern Gagne, they asked SD said SD was talking, said, yeah, Tony is staying at my house now. So first he got ribbed a lot. Everybody started teasing him, hey, you let that Atlas stay in your house, you out of town, he's there with your wife, you know something going on. SD said, I trust my wife, I know my wife, I trust my brother. So they kept teasing him to try to get me kicked out. That didn't work. So one day, Vince, not Vince Sr., Vince Jr., told SD Jones, you kick Tony Atlas out your house or I'm going to fire you.
What?
SD came home and told me. And SD said, well, I told him, I can't kick my brother out. So I said, well, SD, don't worry about it. See, because SD wife, Kate, wanted me to come and stay at the house because I was staying in the hotel. I was spending like, at that time, $500-$600 a week while I was waiting to go to AWA to work for Vern Gagne. So she said, you need to save that money so when you travel, while you come and you can stay here for the couple of weeks you got. So I went and stayed at SD house for a couple of weeks. And then Vince threatened SD if he didn't kick me out the house. Vince said that he was going to fire SD. So I told SD, I said, SD, I will leave and go back to the hotel. Don't you sacrifice your job for me. So I said, and so SD had a friend that was sitting there, and we used to call him Bigfoot. He was probably about 6'4", but he had these size 13 and 14, big ass feet like this, you know. So they call him Bigfoot because he had these big old feet. So Bigfoot said, well, he's only going to be here for about another couple of weeks before we go into Minnesota and work for Vern. So I went and stayed at West Virginia, Bigfoot house. Yeah, stayed at Bigfoot house, and then SD was able to keep his job. But they're going to fire him, and I wasn't even around the business then.
Wow.
So yeah, and I think SD was one of the guys that was underrated. Didn't get the break that he should have gotten into in wrestling and everything. But we only got a couple more minutes left in this segment, but I don't know how much you people enjoy some of these conversations and some of these stories. Wrestling have been a great, great career for me. It was the best thing ever happened to me with all the ups and downs. I wouldn't change a thing. Maybe some things. A few things I would change, but not much. I'm pretty content with my life. When I first started in Bennett, they said you have if you finish this business, Tony, and you have one friend, consider yourself lucky. Well, I feel very, very lucky because I don't just have one friend. I got many, many, many friends. I'm gonna ask Larry to show me something. Get that picture of the Orton, Larry. It should be buried under there somewhere that I just drawn. Yeah. A picture. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. I just did this for a good friend of mine. This here is Bob Orton Sr. That's Bob Orton Sr. That is his son, Barrio. Now, Barrio didn't become a big star so much in the USA, but he was a big star in Canada. And right next to him, of course, is Randy Orton. And then that's Bob Orton. So here's the whole Orton family. Here's the father, Bob Sr., and here's the two sons.
Grandsons.
No, this is his son.
No, that's his son. Those are grandsons.
No, Bob is his son, and Barry is Bob's brother.
I get it.
Randy is the grandson.
I'm sorry.
Randy is the grandson.
Yes.
This is Randy's grandfather, and these are his uncle. I mean, this is his father. It's Randy's father, and that's Randy's uncle. That's Barrio. That's Bob's brother. See? And I just did that for him. What I would do with wrestlers, I would send them a print, and I would ask them to sign them for me. So Bob, being the guy he is, he signed the print for me. Randy signed the print for me, but then he sent me the written back. I said, Bob, the written for you and Randy. Okay. Thank you, Tony. So I have to be on the picture about the great wrestling family. Now, I'm going to be showing y'all more family portraits that I've been doing of wrestling. I'm working on now the Von Erich, the Minnesota Rec Crew, and guys that made a life of this business. So this is Randy's grandfather. That's Randy's father. And that's Randy uncle. And that is the Cobra, Randy. And once again, we want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.